sportschatplace.com and pickdogs.com. It is Thursday, May the 7th, 2020, here with our live show. We got updates from some of the major sports, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to have sports soon. I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm a betting man. I bet we're going to have sports by July 4th. We're going to be eating corn on the cob. We're going to be watching sports, and I'll tell you, it's not just going to be baseball this year either. It's going to be everything. It's going to be awesome. It's actually going to turn out from, one of the worst periods I could ever remember with sports into one of the best summers of sports we've ever had. And we're not talking like some crappy Olympic diving either. We're talking about NBA players in NBA action against NBA players, not playing Croatia this time around. Pretty excited about it, and pretty excited about sports resuming. While we're not having sports, it's the other things in life that are getting exciting. So, as I'm building out the studio, and I'm still not done, and the other guys are, you'll see changes on their what they're doing over, when we bring them in as well. Not today, but you'll see it in the near future. And you can see my microphone or my headphones, something that I've never worn in the past. I just started doing that recently, and there it is. Now you can't see I'm wearing headphones. But anyways, so I go to buy a desk, right? And I call this company. I see this company, VersaDesk, right? And really kind of inexpensive. Not inexpensive, but not, high-end like my desk, that I have out there where, I got audited by the IRS type thing. I'm talking about like, $400 for a nice-sized wooden desk. And I call them and, free shipping, all that stuff. Except, I live in the asterisk state, right? So it's like a call, and it's like, call for shipping charges. The desk is $450. The shipping is $580. Crap you not, man. $580 for shipping for this desk. Then last night, I'm watching TV. Power goes off. It flickers off. I have like some kind of generator. It doesn't flick the power back on. Everyone's got power but me. I'm freaking out. It turns out the guy comes over, the typical, right? I sit there for an hour and a half. I can't even open the refrigerator because everything's going to melt or whatever. The guy comes over, literally flips a switch, and it all comes back on. So it's been that kind of run, but, my golf game is definitely getting better, and I'm certainly ready for some sports. We're going to bring in Steve Monahan first, and we're going to talk about the resumption of the NBA, what the news is, and what it's going to look like. Good morning, Steve. How are you? I'm doing well. Are you guys ready to go outside in New Jersey? Are you guys starting to progress along? Because we are moving into that hairdresser phase. Not that I haven't been dressing my own hair, but we're moving into that phase 3, where the non-essential of the non-essential businesses like hairdressers and things of that nature are going to be open. Any progress in New Jersey? I'm gonna bet that it happens sooner rather than later. It looks like people are just finally fed up, and it's like I think this comes down to, at this point, and like I said yesterday, and I'll say it every day. I'm not a doctor. I'm not even close, but those of you that are high risk, treat it like you're high risk. Those of you that aren't high risk, well, still you practice social distancing. You do these other things, and you move on. But I think we're starting to realize some things about this corona that we might not necessarily have been explained to us correctly from the get-go. And I think that's going to be the tough pill to swallow here, and where some people, in their careers may never recover. They will never recover from it. That's for sure. But that's what, most of the talk now. It's funny how we've gone from this. Well, it's not funny. It's sad how we've gone from this disease and this really err on the side of caution thing to now where it's maybe we've been duped a little bit here, about the severity of and who exactly is. So on ESPN, they flashed across the bottom of the screen the other day that someone died. It was the oldest baseball player, 96 years old. I couldn't even tell you his name. But I think I have you muted. There we go. Wow, that's bad. But anyways, let's see something. Oh man, that sucks. There we go. So, yeah, we got to get Steve and Mike where he mutes himself. See, that's the issue I have is I have to mute everyone before the show because moving around, shuffling stuff, and then I forget to hit the unmute button. But basically, what we're talking about is, so Steve is saying in New Jersey that they're still a couple of weeks away. The kids are out riding bikes, things like that. He hasn't got his hair cut in a while. I think that's pretty much covered it. Outside of that,
yep.
That's it. Pretty much. Those are the highlights. And I just think
I
that
haven't had a cheesesteak in 7 weeks either. That's the other big thing.
That probably an issue. But so I think that like I said, I just think that we're going to start to hear some things that are going to be alarming. We're going to be angry. But in the end, it's all going to work out. And I think one of the result of this is we're going to see sports come back, and it's going to come back quickly. We're all going to have to still be careful, and we're never going to forget this. These things do pass, but we're never going to really forget this. But so the NBA is now players talk tomorrow. What Adam Silver is saying is that this is just a Q&A. I can't imagine a Q&A. I mean, we have a show and we have 450 to 600 people live on a Saturday, right? We had it, we had it this year, and Sundays, right, with us and the guys and the Puck Dogs, Rod and Chris. What's it going to be like on a Q&A call with the NBA? With every player in the league and coach and assistant coach. What's that going to be?
A long call.
Going to be a long call. I'm in a live streaming group, where that's where I'm learning how to do a lot of the stuff in the setups and getting everyone set up, and it's pretty tough, to get a word in edgewise. But what are you hearing about the NBA and possible resumption outside Kevin Durant's salary?
Well, there's three teams, Portland, Denver, Cleveland, that were looking to open their facility in this limited capacity, that type of thing. And then you have a handful of other teams that, because of whatever states they're in, there's different rules and regulations based on the amount of corona and cases, things like that. But the fact that they're talking, I think then, to your point, I think by July 4th, whatever, hopefully there's NBA basketball and there's Major League Baseball and there's golf and there's hockey and everything else. But I think the NBA is probably a few weeks away, and hopefully they start bouncing the ball. Again, we have no idea yet what a format would look like as far as, the end of the season, or if it's just going to be one big tournament, or if it's just going to be, however they deem to save this season in any way they can. But again, your point, Silver's talking to the players, so we shall see, but at least it's progress.
I think the positive here, I've said it a number of times on these shows, and I know that we don't have the same viewers and listeners and all of that stuff every day, so it's okay to repeat myself. But I do believe that the NBA is going to be one of those leagues where there is a happy silver lining to this. They're talking, the big talk coming out of this is that the NBA is going to start their seasons in December from now on, and they're going to run directly against baseball. And I think it's going to be good for the NBA, and I think it's going to be even better for baseball because it's time for baseball to pick up their game. And we're going to bring in Chris Ruffalo. Steve will bring you back for the Sim picks, but we're gonna bring in Chris, and we're gonna talk some NBA here. And of course, Chris Ruffalo, the Puck Dog, has been with us at Sports Chat Place and Pick Dogs. He kind of stunned both, but morning, Chris. How are you?
I'm doing well. I finally got my rollerblades in the mail yesterday, so I can actually start, going skating, rolling around the area a little bit.
I'll tell you what, I got some rollerblades in the garage. Maybe I'll come up there when they lift the thing. I'll blade with you. So here's what I do, and I know it looks ridiculous, and Monahan is probably laughing behind the scenes, but I get 3-pound arm weights. Okay, and the only color that 3-pound arm weights come in is pink. And when I rollerblade, I do the 3-pound arm weights. Like, I basically do curls while I'm rollerblading around. And then I'll do other things. Like, I'll have, like, sets where I do sprints on the rollerblade. I used to do it like I had a track that I would, a course, basically, that I would do for and it took me about an hour. And part of it was, like, skating down and up this slight incline, 8 times. So, like, when I skate down, there was a certain, weight motion that I did. And then skating up, I would, do these just with 3-pound weights. And, man, it got you in shape really, really, really fast. So, happy blading to you. We'll have to get some video pics of that. We'll get your fiance out there with their iPhone Plus and maybe shoot some video, and we'll have a good time with it. Just make sure to wear the Richard Simmons headband with that, so we get the full effect. And of course, the mandatory knee-high White Sox, with or without the stripes.
You have to.
I know that I'm from the knee-high Sox with stripes era. That's what where the era that I come from. But I know now they have pure white. I even see in black, too. They call them compression socks. We used to call them gym socks. Now they call them compression socks. And it's like, you could see when the guy gets it at Walmart. It's like, what the hell is this? The first time they come in, I don't know. Put $16.99 on it. It's like that's
don't worry. I will be the only one on the track. I've got my Bill Walton shorts lined up just below the cuff, and it's the high socks. I'll be the only one on the track.
Well, this we're gonna have to see. But so Major League Baseball, there's a little bit different tact from Major League Baseball than the other sports. So the first thing that Major League Baseball is saying is that they're going to put out a solid plan. That this is what we're going to plan on doing, and they aren't backing down from this season. I heard people say in the comments, right? I've heard people say in the comments, even on our show, and I'm not going to sit there and say, you're right. They should pack it in until next year. This is why we hate Rafa Nadal, right? This is why we hate his guts, because he's soft, right? You don't get it, You don't. This guy, right? Tennis. This guy, you don't get it, man. It's like you're an asshole. Okay, you make millions and millions and millions of dollars, and if I'm his sponsor, I tell him to fucking take a walk, man. It's like, this isn't about you, This is about me, Let's be realistic here.
You almost ask yourself when Rafa Nadal became the athletic director at Notre Dame.
It's like we should just start again for next year. It's like, so what about all the fans? What are all the people that are just starved to see this? What are all the people that are just looking for something upbeat? And they look to you as a leader, to kind of help us and lead us out of this thing, And so Major League Baseball, normally the guys who were, the strongest union in the world, and these guys constantly looking for a way to get more money with less work. But they're talking about playing, and I'm going to guess that they need the money.
Well, you've already seen a lot of the employees talking about, they're going to be furloughed in May, and all these teams are saying, oh, well, we're still going to keep people on staff or whatever. And now you have players that are coming out and they're coming out to the players union and saying, well, I'm worried. What's going to happen if I choose not to play this year? What's going to happen if I choose to, put my health first or put my family's health first? Or what if I don't want to spend time away from my family? And, it's a reality, unfortunately, for more people than it isn't.
I just think that, we're seeing Korean baseball, right? So we're seeing it. And we're seeing Taiwanese baseball. We're covering all this stuff at Sports Chat.
Yep.
And, some people are interested in it. Looking at the numbers, there are people interested in it. If that's your thing, we're going to cover it. But, maybe they see this and they see what's going on elsewhere and they say, man, soon we're going to be in 5th place. It's like it's bad enough we're in 4th. It's like we're going to be in 5th. It's 6th place. As far as the sports pecking order goes. So,
yeah.
At least I think this is a chance of all the times where Major League Baseball has wronged us.
Yeah.
To be a leader and to regain some of their popularity that they had. If they're the first ones out of the gate, if you could be first out of this.
Yeah, that gives you a definite.
And you schedule it, use the Mitch scheduling system of scheduling day games and night games. You're going to hit a home run grand slam out of the gate. In an abbreviated season, you'll have your biggest season you ever had.
Yeah. Because that's what we're looking at right now is what's being put on the table is 80 to 100 games, and that's starting July 1st. We potentially running into the playoffs in late November, but it's what we have to do.
But maybe we go to neutral sites with dome stadiums.
Well, exactly. Yeah.
And that's what we do. All right. Well, I think we're going to have more update. I think we'll have more updates as. So Joe Desmond, the answer to your question is we don't really talk about that on the show. But what we do is that if you go to the website, if you go to Sports Chat Place and you click on like a Sims article, it will tell you where you can bet that game. So we don't endorse any particular books on this show, but we will say like if we talk about because especially with the Sims games, certain books covering different games, we'll have a link there and you can click on the link to that specific thing. But I don't endorse any book, and it's like I use a bunch of them to be honest with you. I use the ones that I know are going to pay me because I'm not like one of these guys that I'm not a donation, It's like I click on the ones that are going to pay me. A lot of people, they enroll in these online sports books, they never withdraw. I withdraw. I don't withdraw every day, but it's like I do withdraw, and I go with the ones that are going to pay me. But we're going to have more news on baseball. I'm going to guess tomorrow or Saturday at the latest. So, hopefully we'll have a special show, where it's like baseball says, July 1st, play ball. I'll tell you one thing. If they do have preseason baseball, if they do have an exhibition season, it's going to be the most heavy bet exhibition season in the history of baseball. And speaking of heavily bet, we're going to bring in the Chris. We'll see in just a few minutes for our Sim Pick section. But we're going to bring in the unofficial mayor of Calgary, Rod Zawacki. Rod, good morning. I don't know if we can hear you. Fix that up front.
There. Morning.
I keep looking to the side because I'm grainy today. For some reason, I feel like I'm grainy on the screen. So it's like, I don't know what it is. I do know what it is, but it's like, we'll have to, it's something that it's a problem I didn't have before, and it's a problem that I have now. So it's like, I just feel like I'm feeling a little grainy. But anyways, how are things going out in Alberta? Any backlash on the Calgary comments?
Okay, Calgary's not so bad. They actually did some research in Calgary, and some researchers have found that anybody who's been doing one of these and puffing on the stuff, the green grass, CBD, is actually less likely to catch the coronavirus by 80%, because the CBD that's in there, it actually puts up a blocker to stop you from getting it.
So
And they found this out,
I
and
stopped
they found this out in Calgary.
I stopped smoking. I stopped smoking weed in about 1996, 1997. But I think I smoked enough before then, where I probably still got some good traces in my system. So I'm probably covered on that. I think I smoked enough for everybody. I was brain dead for about 15 years there, and it's like, all right, I admit it. I did inhale. a lot. Most of the time. Put it this way. It's 6 o'clock. It's 5 o'clock in the morning here in Hawaii, and if I was still smoking, I would have been well into my several. And I still, like, when Sam goes by the table, and he's wagging his tail and he's knocking stuff around. It's like I still refer to it as a bong spiller tail. I still refer to that. He's got Sam's got the total bong spiller tail. It's like just knocks over everything. But anyways, so the NFL. We've had some talks. Of course, they are further out, as far as their projected start of the season. But camps are not, they didn't have the rookie, camps. They're not having, some of these other workouts. The NFL has a pretty good union too. Not as strong as baseball, but Ray Kimbrell's talking about the $15 lids. I'm talking about the brown frown. I'm talking about the brown frown. It's like, so, when my mother passed away a few years ago, my sister had me on the phone, like she was going through my old stuff, and it's like I couldn't make it down to Florida to go through my stuff. My sister was like, what do you want? What do you don't want? She's going through my stuff, and it's like, she picks up an album and like 40 seeds roll out of the thing. It's like, and it's like the old album cover, it's like, but yeah, we could do a whole show on that alone. But we had in college we had the Rasta Men. Steve, remember the Rasta Men? Steve's familiar with the Rasta Men. We'll bring him back. We'll bring him back later. We used to have the Rastas. It was like people were afraid to knock on the door. I had no problem. It was like for some reason they were always like, come on in, hang out. It was like, people were like, oh man, you gotta go though, because it's like, the dry summer only the Rasta guy had. But anyways, speaking of dry summers, man, this has been a dry spring, and so the NFL already acting like a little bit of I always say that it's okay, like, if shit happens, right? It happens all the time, and it's like sometimes you have to change plans, and no one pivots like I do. I mean, you saw last year when I was fired from my own company, and then I came back, I started another company, and then in February I got the other company back, and all of a sudden I got 40 people working at the sites instead of like our nice little crew that we had. It's like all of a sudden it's like we just pivot and we just make it work and make it happen. But the NFL is already like pre-scheduling things, talking about like ticket refunding and working with the ticket resellers on refunding, and canceling the Mexico game and the London games, which no one cares about anyway, right? It's like the Mexico game I think is pretty cool, but the London game, I don't like it. It's like I'm over it. Is what I'm at with the London game. And the Jags. Why were the Jags gonna have 2 London games this year? It's like I don't know, man. It's like if you can't sell tickets in Jacksonville, it's time to move the team. As far as I'm concerned, it's like, believe me, there are other places that are just starving for a team. That would love one. Places that lost teams. Or places that have teams that aren't even really like teams. And it's like, they always move it to Los Angeles. It's like, how many times is Los Angeles going to screw it up? Let's give them 2 teams now. It's like, these people can't support one long term. It's like, let's try 2. It's like, maybe they'll move the Raiders back there too, and they'll have 3. It's like, whatever. But the NFL is talking about ticket refund policies of possible canceling. They've canceled the London games. They've canceled camps. what do you think about what's going on here with the National Football League and the Roger Goodell world of National Football League, where you can't even horse collar a guy anymore?
No. Seems it's got soft to me, but
I mean, Jim Brown, literally, if you tried to face mask him, he had no problem. He bit your hand. You know, it's like they never did it. They didn't do it again. It's like this is true stories. You know, they put Jim Brown, like they put their hand in his face. He'd bite their freaking finger off. It's like these are you know, in this NFL, it's like, you know, the guy stubs his toe, he's out for 4 games. It's because they make a ton of money. Back in the day, they didn't make that kind of money, so they had to play. It's like you don't see the guys wrapping the arms like at Too Tall Jones, you know, coming in.
do they wrap their whole hands? You see linemen with their
No, it's like they don't even wrap anymore. It's like some kind of like red tape, and then they have tape where they just put a piece of tape on their arm and stuff. I see these kids out there like playing sports, and they have like just a piece of tape on their arm.
Like 1 second.
What is it? What is that? Steve Monahan probably knows. He has kids. He's probably seen all these gadgets and things he needed. I mean, for us, when we got a batting glove, like when we were like 8 years old and got a batting glove, it was a big day. You know, it was a big deal. But anyways, Rod, so you think the NFL is going to go off here without a hitch, or you know, you think these guys are, because these guys seem to be overly cautious, and I don't know what it is about it, but it's like these guys seem to be super concerned, and it's like I think they have the least to be concerned about.
Well, yeah, because they don't start till the first game.
Yeah, it's like you have time. You got time.
Oh, you have lots of time to see how things roll along. They're gonna slowly open things up. Yeah, I think you said May 15th. They're gonna open up for stadiums back for non-essential personnel and players rehabbing. That's their first phase. Phase 2, he wants to increase players coming back, but he has nothing set for that yet. No date set for that. So as of next Friday? Next Friday they'll have stadiums open back up and non-essential players working. But
so what about places like Wrigley Field where they probably pre-ordered like a zillion pretzels, you know, for the season? You think they'll just resell them and you know, later on in the season or next year? I mean, I've been to a lot of stadiums, and the worst pretzel in baseball is Wrigley Field. I mean, it's the worst. It's sawdust.
Their pretzel probably comes in frozen. You just have to rebake. Basically, you dunk the pretzel in water, and then you dunk it in a little salt mixture so the salt sticks to it, and then you put them into the oven.
Yeah, but it's like, so at some places you go and you get a nice hot pretzel. Other places you go and it's like kind of like a wet, soggy pretzel. But Wrigley Field, it's like a wet, soggy pretzel that kind of, it's like, it's not just firm to the touch. I mean, it crumbles. You know, this thing crumbles. It's like, it is, you know, I call it the Ryan Sandberg commemorative edition, man. It's from the 84 playoffs. It's like, it's horrible.
A fresh pretzel is supposed to be like a bagel, kind of. Like you should pull apart and have some chew to it and give me some cheese sauce to dump my fresh pretzel in. Oh,
you should see what they're getting $9 for over at Wrigley.
I'm surprised nobody's throwing them back on the field. Pretzel toss.
So what's going on? Korean baseball posted at or after midnight East Coast. Is that for today's games? I'm missing it because that is a problem. It's useless because the games start early. Why would they post them so late? I will look into it. I believe it's Shane writing those picks. We should hit him up right now on the phone. But I don't have my phone in the studio with me. If I did, we would call him and say, "What the hell's going on?" And Chris is laughing behind the scenes because he knows I will. I will absolutely do it. I was like last night at it was like 1:30 in the morning Chris's time. Where the hell are your sim picks? you know, because I'm manipulating things in there. I'm sitting there waiting for him, you know. Chris is writing about like a preview for like, you know, Portland State, you know, projected win totals. Like it's like the game's tomorrow or something. It's like anyway, speaking of Portland State win totals, let's just get to some sim picks here. Think that we'll have updates on all these sports soon, and I really do believe I think that I think we're going to start to see a lot of states open up because we're going to start to see the results from Georgia, Texas, here in Hawaii. Where, you know, tomorrow we're a week in already, you know, and it's like I have to say the people that I really feel sorry for at this point. Last night I went out and got some pizza because our power was out, so we couldn't cook, and I mean, they're really hurting, all these local businesses. So if you have a chance, NASCAR is 10 days away. If you
May 7th.
if
May
you
17th.
if you and Jeff Jeter covers NASCAR for us at Sports Chat Place in Pick Dogs. So Jeff Jeter from Tennessee. It's like if you're not if you're a NASCAR guy's not from Tennessee, he's not a real NASCAR guy. Anyway, speaking of NASCAR guys, we'll bring Steve and Chris back in. Steve, I gotta ask you, what's the tape on the ankle? Well, I mean, it's not like wrapping ankles and wrists and arms and, you know, Vern Denherter, you know, wrapping and Ed Too Tall. It, you know, what exactly is going on with this strip of masking tape on the arms, or you know, some of these other just long socks, like kids wearing long socks? What about the sock? Like what my nephews do. They think that socks with sandals, like this is a good look. You're gonna be laughing. Your kids are gonna be really laughing at you because it's not cool. Not cool.
Yeah, I don't do the sock sandal look. Never have, never will.
No. I mean,
I
here in Hawaii,
tape
you see the
might
tourist,
be cool
and it's humorous.
And actually
You know,
does anything for you.
the tape.
Yeah, I think it's more of a, you know, makes you look cooler. Yeah, outside of taping your ankles, I really don't see the need for tape anywhere else.
I was an
Unless
eye.
you break your finger and you gotta.
I was an eye black guy. I was an eye black guy. You know, I was.
Well, yeah, I say Mitch knows my fiance's huge into like workouts and stuff, and she was off camera, so I was asking her. I said, "What's the tape for?" And she says, "Well, if you're not trying to look like a musclehead." And I said, "Shut up! That's not what I'm asking you." She said, "It's basically for soft tissue to add support while you're lifting weights, or if you have like an injury, it's supposed to help give you support or something like that." I don't know how true that actually is. That might be the coach coming out of her, but she's also the one that kind of got a chuckle when she went downstairs.
I would say that my guess is she's always right, so we're not going to argue with her. That's for sure. Not going to win that.
Yeah, she's giving me the thumbs up in the background. Yeah.
We're not going to even try. So speaking of which, my wife moved my cards that I wrote my sim picks on away, so I have to find something else. So just write them on this for today. What do we got in the world of sim picks? Rod, did you hit your hockey picks?
Both of them.
So Rod's never missed a sim hockey pick. So he's giving out free money.
Everyone hit so far.
That's what I said. We'll get you some tape to support your writing hand when you're writing down the picks in case you got any soft tissue.
Yeah.
It's like, Steve, eye black or no eye black? Because now they use tape for eye black.
No, I wouldn't wear the tape eye black. It's definitely got to be the real McCoy.
The real eye black.
I used to do eye black when I played quarterback.
So, on your jersey, right? Did you have some eye black stains going on there on the jersey? Because that's that's the coolest. It's like it's kind of like when you get the new pair of sneakers and you throw some dirt on them. It's kind of like you do the eye black and then you do one of the, you know, it's like I think that the eye black and the runny eye black is like one of the coolest things in sports. And now you see these guys, they have the tape, and they write their area code on it or something. It's like, just get yourself a tuba eye black.
Exactly.
A normal person.
Old school. Old school.
I think Reggie Bush started the other ones because he put the area code on there.
Tebow with his religious sayings probably too.
Yeah, that could have been it. It's kind of like the Jim McMahon Roselle headband. Anyways, Chris, what?
Why do players wear tape on their arms? It says to stop turf burn.
That's different. No, we're talking about like a strip of masking tape. They have like just a strip of tape, not like this. The things I understand. I've played, so I've told this story before. When I was in Pee Wee football, we won the state championship, and we got to play at halftime of a Miami-Florida State game, and it was back when it had AstroTurf. And I was so excited to play in the AstroTurf. And like the first play, it's like I dive to tackle a guy, and it's like half my arm comes off, from the AstroTurf. And it was like I had to come out of the game. I'm bleeding. It's like everyone in the stands is like, it's got 76,000 people just screaming. I'm bleeding. I got the blood on my uniform, my eye black. It's like I'm crying. My eye black's running. Like 7 years old.
The risk of staph infection. You're gonna have to come out of the game.
It's like my lifelong dream, I'm on the Orange Bowl turf, and I make this tackle. I like dive, I just grab the guy by the ankles, drags me a little bit. I'm bleeding, like my elbow's just gone.
I just see like a 9-year-old, 10-year-old Mitch. You're gonna have to take me out of the game.
Well, the thing is, even then, I was half the size of everybody else. So the kid drugged me a couple of yards on top of it, because I only had him by the leg, At one, I needed some help, It's like
that's you really left it all out on the field.
Well, at that age, that's what they teach you. To hang on and everyone else will come help you. That's what they teach you. Grab onto the guy and you'll get help. And I mean, we won the championship. I always got help. We had a lot of the Dolphin kids on our team. We also had guys that played at, played at the next level later on, much later on in life. Played, college football and starred. I mean, our middle linebacker was ended up being the captain of Tennessee's defense. It's like we had a good team. Our running back ended up playing on the U.S. Olympic soccer team. It's just in Miami. There's just a lot. I don't know what it is. There's just a lot of good athletes. There's good athletes everywhere. I'm just saying that because they can play sports 365 days a year. You get that. But, I got dragged on the Orange Bowl turf. I cried like a baby. It was AstroTurf. It was like not the new field turf or anything. It was the real AstroTurf, the stuff that really hurt. Anyway, speaking of hurting, how did we do in our Sims picks yesterday, Chris?
So the Browns ended up covering over the Bills. The Lions covered it against the Eagles. The Seahawks covered against the Steelers. And the Ravens beat the Chiefs.
So I was 2-2.
2-2.
Steelers won though.
No, the Seahawks won 45-21.
Pantsed them.
Go.
Oh man, I haven't thought about that getting dragged across the Orange Bowl turf in a long time. It was like the whole team went in the back of the pickup truck, like down to the Orange Bowl. It's like you play like, the halftime's like 10 minutes. You play like 6 minutes of football. You drink like 4 bottles of Gatorade. It's like, yeah, those were the days. They had the Gatorade lids that had the team, helmets on it, the NFL helmets on it. Everyone's arguing over, I need that one.
Exactly.
What do we got today, Chris? Oh man, I'm in tears.
At 12 Eastern, Bears at Bengals. Bears -10, over under 50.5.
Bengals.
Got Bengals +10.
See a big line here. Those scores yesterday sounded like they were big in this rookie mode sounded like they were.
Well, I asked the guy yesterday. It turns out it was in rookie mode the entire time.
Oh,
That once you switch it to the simulation mode, it goes right to rookie mode.
Steve,
we've
yeah,
been doing it this way the whole time.
Steve, you ever get knocked out playing quarterback?
Oh yeah.
I got in high school. I got knocked out cold. Woke up on the sideline, smelling salts.
My sophomore year in high school, I got laid out before I won the varsity job. I wake up in the hospital. I'm in the hallway, and Tommy John was pitching for the New York Yankees at the time, and Tommy John was standing right by me. His wife was giving birth that day, whatever. But I got to meet Tommy John when I woke up from getting laid out.
I was on like the kickoff team, and I was not the back guys. I was like the next guys up, and the ball bounced and it hit me in the chest, and the wall set up to the left side, and I came through, and there's nobody there, man. It was like running down the street like how it is right now outside. And I come through the wall, and all I can see is the end zone, and I get blindsided by a high school kicker, knocked out cold. I mean, cold. I mean, he just must have sized me up. I'm not that fast, you know. He just lined me up, and I mean, he just jacked me. I mean, I was out cold. I guess I fumbled. The other team recovered, drove down for a touchdown. We never recovered from it. It's like it was the opening kickoff. But I mean, out.
Yeah.
It's like probably a hit that would get somebody thrown out these days. I think he got me with the helmet right under the chin. It was like a really good shot. It's like I wasn't
A little
mad.
targeting.
I wasn't mad. It's just it is what it is. I mean that's like that was what the game was. That's what we were taught. Face on the ball or take the guy's head off. Or hold on for dear life and wait for the cavalry. That's what we were taught at the lower levels. Run in, grab the guy by the leg if you can, and just wait for everybody else. Hold on as long as you can. Slow him down.
Slow him down. Yeah, if you slow him down enough, then the rest, everybody else can get in there.
Oh man, I don't know if anyone remembers a Dolphin guy named UB Ginn. He played on that '72 team. Son Clinton Ginn played in our league. I hung on to him a couple times, dragged me. But that was not on the Orange Bowl turf. That was on regular grass. That was the grass stains with the eye black on the uniform, with the sweat, and of course, a lot of crying at that age. Anyways, I got on the Bengals in game 1. Chris, who do we got? Game 2.
Game 2 are the Bills at the Cowboys. Cowboys -7. Over under 54.5. I like the Cowboys.
I'll take the Cowboys.
What's the
Take
line?
the Bill.
Cowboys -7.
7.
I'll take the Bills.
I'm gonna
Bills
take.
+7.
I'm gonna take the Bills too.
The 7 o'clock game.
Is Andy Dalton on that
Saints
team? Is Andy Dalton on that team? Hey, has Sean Lee been injured in that game? Any of these Cowboy games?
I think Sean Lee's actually healthy.
It's got to be a video game.
It's a video.
It's got to be a video game.
7 Eastern, Saints at Chiefs in a pick'em. Over under 64.5.
I'll take the Chiefs to bounce back today.
I'll take the Chiefs.
I'll take Alvin Kamara and the Saints.
Well, over.
Because the snow. It's snowing. Light snow in Kansas City, it says.
Well, Drew Brees, he's my man. And Michael Thomas, I'm sure, is a beast in this game.
99 overall. And last one, Cardinals at Raiders in a pick'em. Over under 54.5.
Kyler Murray, Cliff Kingsbury.
I think the Raiders are.
Yeah, I like
How does
over.
David Carr rate out in stuff? Derek Carr.
I think he's 80 or high 70s.
So he's overrated slightly.
I'll take the Cardinals and Kyler.
Yeah, I think I'm going to take the Cardinals. All right. Well, that sums it up. If you guys are looking to bet the sim games, just go over to Sports Chat Place, click on any of the sim games or any game there, and it will tell you where you can find these odds in these strange times. Rod, Chris, Steve, thanks for joining me. Hopefully we have some really good updates coming up. I got really good positive vibes. I'm not like, like I said, we're out. We're not like 100% out, but we're out. It's like we're out and about, and it's like we're in phase 3 now here. And it's like, so we're going to find out in a week or so. And, I know they're tossing around the word staycation, so, I'm sure that the Jersey Shore is calling your name, Steve. Don't worry. We'll be just fine here in Maui on our staycation.
Our golf course opens up next Saturday.
One thing about the about the golf courses here running tremendous specials. I know if anyone wants to visit Maui, it's 14-day quarantine that you can't, they'll check you at the courses. If you haven't done it, they're not gonna let you out. But $78 at Kapalua, normally $349 plus tax. That's the deal of the century. Doesn't get any better than that. Anyways, have a great day, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow. Hopefully, we have something to talk about.
See you.